Hey everybody, welcome to another one of Chris's Beer Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Tree Brewing Company Raspberry Porter. It's a 5% ABV at 650 milliliters. This is from Kelowna, British Columbia. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It says unpasteurized and no preservatives. I'm just going to read a little brief description on the back here. It says Tree Brewing Company takes craft brewing seriously. We brew in small batches using only water, malt, hops, and yeast to produce the highest quality award-winning beer. Try our selection of all natural unpasteurized beers, sure to satisfy some of the most discriminating craft beer drinkers and judges. Drop by the brewery located in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia, and we'll show you firsthand how we make great beer. Until then, cheers. So I've had a lot of beers from the Tree Brewing Company. It's a really good price for 650 milliliter bottle. You're looking at $5.41, which is great since a lot of the beers that have been coming out these days, 650 milliliters, are running you around $9.95. I've said that for all the Tree Brewing beers so far. I've reviewed about 3, and 2 things. I repeated that 3 times in a row, and I also repeated the exact same rating on the back of the bottle 3 times in a row for each bottle. Anyways, Tree Brewing Company. This is their logo, and there's your tree on the cap. I'm going to be reviewing this at like a chilled cellar temperature. Another thing that I'd like to point out is that I'm going to be reviewing it with a tulip glass. Because of the shape of the glass, I like drinking porters in this glass because I don't know, I kind of feel like it brings out the flavors. Porters are very, very similar to stouts. I just find that they're they lean a little bit more on the watery side of you know a beer as dark as this. Like most porters, it's black all the way through. Resembles that much of a stout, just less thick, or not as thick. We got a 1 finger head here. You can't see very well. There you go, right there. We got basically like a caramelized coffee looking head. Not really picking up on any raspberry whatsoever so far, but let's see what happens when I dip in. Very nice. So it is very much like a porter. It's not thick. It's a little watered down. I would definitely recommend drinking this colder than I did. Um, it's got nothing to do with the flavors. It's just I feel like it would be that much more satisfying of a beer if I would have had it a little bit more chilled, especially when we're dealing with a porter, which is, again, like I said, a little bit more watered down than your average stout. The raspberry flavor that you get from the porter, when you first take that sip, before the oxygen, before you have that chance to open your mouth and release the oxygen into your mouth, it tastes very, very much like a dark lager. And then as soon as you open your mouth and you release the oxygen into your mouth, you immediately get overwhelmed by that raspberry feeling, flavor. And you know what? I don't want to choose the word overwhelmed because it's not too overpowering. It really is a perfect combination of raspberry with your porter because they get the point across of the raspberry. Excuse me, but it's not one of those beers that has too much fruity sediment at the bottom of the bottle. I haven't gotten there yet. Doesn't judging by the way that it tastes, it doesn't feel like that's gonna happen to me. And yeah, you know what? It's not too sweet. It really is a perfect balance of raspberry. It's a perfect touch, and it really is just kind of prominent more on the tip of your tongue than on the rest of your palate. Sorry, I take that back. It's more in the center of your palate. But you know what? It really is good. If I would have made any recommendation to this, I would have really enjoyed experimenting with a higher alcohol content raspberry porter. I just feel like it's lacking that much of the booziness that would really make this beer kind of seem a little bit out there and stand out amongst the big boys out there at the moment. Aside from that, it's good. You know what? $5.41 or whatever the heck it was. Great price. And I say the same thing for their incredibly hoppy beer that comes out every once in a while. It's killing me because I don't remember what it's called. It's kind of like an IPA. Anyways, people, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. You know, it's up there. It's got a lot of potential. It doesn't let me down in any way except for things that I would have chose to have more of it in my own personal opinion. So I think that's safe to say at 8 out of 10 is pretty good. I was even almost leaning towards 7.5 out of 10. But it's good. It's above average. Definitely enjoyable beer. And one thing I can definitely say is that, sure, 650 milliliters. Sometimes a 650 milliliter bottle, depending on what kind of beer you're getting, can be too overwhelming for one individual to consume. But because of how light this is and how pleasing it is, I would recommend that it doesn't. I'm not going to say I'm going to recommend this, but my opinion is that one person can finish a bottle like this very, very easily without it being, you know, too overwhelming or too strong in any of the departments that kind of tend to make people not want to drink a full bottle all the way through. You know, sheer example out there is Southern Tier's Creme Brulee. You know, it's such a great milk stout, but the problem is it's so rich, and if one person can finish the bottle, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be feeling like $100 when they're finished that bottle. Sweet, great beer, magnificent beer, but some beers are meant to be split with two people. Anyways, people, thanks for joining me on another one of Chris's beer reviews. Don't drink and drive, just drink responsibly and keep on trucking.